everybody, it's Craig here, reviews for you. Beautiful Sunday afternoon, 105 degrees outside. Alright, so today we want to talk about Rian Johnson and his Saturn Award. Now, I don't even know what a Saturn Award is, and I don't even think anybody does. Maybe it's just like one of them paper participation trophies. I don't know. But he won a Saturn Award for his writing, for the screenplay, for The Last Jedi. Well, one of our subscribers, JP, and you've heard me talk about him before. He's into fan fiction. He's into writing fan fiction. Well, after The Force Awakens came out, he and a lot of other people decided that they would write the rest of the trilogy. They do this for fun. They do this to make up stories. They do this because they're Star Wars fans. I'm going to play for you because there's no way that you can have this many coincidences in one movie and not be plagiarized. Now, yeah, I'm saying it. I'm saying he plagiarized it. I'm saying that he's an empty shell, can't come up with an idea on his own, even worse than J.J. Abrams with the lens flare. I'm saying they went on fanfiction.net, and I'm saying they went on the archives and just started pulling great ideas off of that, and that's how they came up with The Last Jedi. It's not that he wrote it. It's not that it's his idea. These are fans' ideas. Now, he didn't take all the fans' ideas. He just took the good ones. And then the rest of the crap thrown in the middle, that's Rian Johnson. So, I'm going to play the video now. The one from JP. JP has made a video of all the coincidences in his script. And then after that, I'm going to tell you of more coincidences that I found after going through the archives. And then you make up your own mind on whether you think that the script for The Last Jedi was plagiarized or not.
Hey, my name is JP, and today we're going to talk about Lucasfilms and an interesting connection between an online fiction and The Last Jedi. Did they read fan fiction, and did they use those elements in their film? You decide. First, a bit of history. Fanfiction.net is a website that has been around for decades, where aspiring writers can create stories pertaining to any fictional work, the vast majority being Star Wars fan fiction. It has long been known, even since the 80s, that Lucasfilm was monitoring fan fiction before the advent of the internet, and the fact is, it continues still to today. It is a known fact that Disney currently puts $50 million into monitoring social media. I'll post a video showing this at the end of this video. Anyway, in February and March of 2016, I had written an episode 8 and 9, and I want to lay out a large number of my plot elements. And you decide what you think is going on here. I posted these stories on fanfiction.net in March and April of 2016, where they have been viewed by 20,000 visitors. Those stats are available for the people who upload it. So, my story. Episode 8. The Rise of the Dark Jedi. To start, Luke is training Rey, reluctantly, fearing that he will fail her like he did with Ben, but an unknown commitment holds him. He does train her until after she enters the temple and he realizes that she is too dangerous to teach and so refuses to complete her training. This is my story. He then calls on Yoda for help. Huh? So she leaves to go and support the resistance. Only in my story, Luke goes with her. Luke then has a conversation with Leia, stating that he cannot save Ben, and Leia acknowledges the truth in that. Seriously, this scene is almost word for word in both the movie and in my book. Kylo Ren is being trained by Snoke. I know they abandoned that in the movie, but Kylo Ren begins to show signs of disloyalty to Snoke, and Snoke threatens him with his power. The First Order lays a trap for the Resistance, in which a few groups of Resistance supporters must secretly break into the lead Star Destroyer unknown to Leia and the leadership. But instead of turning off the contrivance of a light-speed tracker, they need to disable a light-speed engine system and hack into the communication array. Finn does this with a small group, and Boba Fett joins them. Now wait. Yes, it's Boba Fett, and he exactly fits that part that the Codebreaker did in The Last Jedi. And don't be surprised if we find out that character's name in the next film is Boba. The infiltration was accomplished with a cloaking device, just like in The Last Jedi. They accomplished their task, but Finn's group is captured by Phasma, who makes them kneel in execution-style form. A battle ensues, and Finn kills Phasma. Huh? Rey and Kylo Ren have a throne room battle scene, only instead of masked Praetorian guards with varied weapons, it's masked Knights of Ren with varied weapons. Luke does enter the fray one-on-one with Kylo Ren and passively defeats him after showing his full power, and I will let that be a surprise for anyone that reads it. He does give himself up, Obi-Wan Kenobi style, for the salvation of Ben Solo and the Resistance, and he dies. Also, Rey does find out that she has no important lineage. What? Meanwhile, a space chase is going on outside between the Resistance capital ships and the First Order. There is no escape, so an Admiral Akbar, in my story, orders everyone to abandon the ship, and Leia's capital ship receives the escape pods. Sounding familiar? Akbar then sacrifices himself and the ship in order for Leia and the remaining Resistance to escape. Is anyone seeing what I'm seeing here? If nothing else, after The Force Awakens, there were a lot of predictions, but certainly not on the top of the list was Luke's death, Phasma's death, and Rey's unimportant lineage, let alone the sacrifice of an admiral destroying his ship and a word-for-word dialogue between Luke and Leia, and breaking into a Star Destroyer to disengage a MacGuffin. Of course, a throne room fight scene and Luke's reason for not training Rey may have been a natural progression to the story, but the rest of this stuff is too much to blame on coincidence. But you decide. And I see two possible reasons for this occurring. One, like I said, some of these things are natural for Star Wars, and perhaps the writers and I had a convergent development of the story where we independently came up with the same thing. Or two, their creative team really is looking for ideas off fanfiction.net instead of coming up with their own ideas. I will say this, I would be a lot happier if they had kept my ending. But instead they made a bad movie. And this is a warning to anyone out there that's posting fanfiction to the internet. I'm not saying don't do it. Do it. I encourage you to. But be ready for Disney to harvest some of your stuff if it is good. And just maybe use it to make a bad movie. Legally, for those who are going to continue to write, know that fanfiction is protected by parody laws as long as you don't solicit funding for the production nor receive any money for the final project in any way. Now listen, I'm a 40-year-old man. I have a degree in veterinary medicine and spent months writing in between patients at work. I'm not a teenage girl writing a trash Reylo romance fiction. And as a student of literature, I wanted to write something that was worth reading, and I did. And it is a shame that, in my opinion, it was used for a really bad film. It is a shame. And if you perhaps believe that I wrote this after The Last Jedi, there are links in the description that verify the time of posting. Anyway, if you want to know how my story turned out differently from theirs, because there are drastic plot differences, check out the link in the description. It is a better story than what they did. And if you liked the video, please share it. Thanks again.
Now, that's a whole lot of coincidences, don't you think? I mean, one coincidence would be one thing. Two coincidences would be something else. But when you get into multiple things like this, yeah, I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's just straight ripping off somebody else's writing. But I've got more. Now, as I was looking around, and this was just one of JP's ideas, take a look around. Look at everybody else's ideas. See what you come up with. I came up with one writer named Street Solo. And she wrote her own trilogy. Now, here's some of the things that come out of her episode 8. Snoke bridging the minds of Rey and Kylo Ren. Coincidence? One thing could be a coincidence. Let's see if she did anything else. She came up with Rey being sold for drinking money. Word for word. Wow. Okay, that's 2 coincidences. Not counting JP's coincidences. The third thing, the whole scene with Rey and Kylo, where the lightsaber is suspended in the air and they're fighting over it, that's in hers. The little tickling of the hands, you know, the little hand sex, that's in hers too. Now, I would say between JP's coincidences, these coincidences, and there's more. Oh my God, there's a lot more. This has nothing to do with the fact that that Rian Johnson wrote anything, let alone does he deserve an award for it. What he deserves is he deserves to be pulled out, called out for plagiarism, and then they can take his Saturn Award away, which is probably just a piece of paper anyway. And he needs to be exposed for the fraud that he is. Yeah, I'm calling it. I'm calling it right now. You can't have JPs and you can't have street solos, and there's more. I mean, there's more. If I really wanted to, I could go through here and pull out a whole lot more. They're not coincidences. They are scenes exactly how they are in the movie, except these are the good parts. The rest is all crap. That's the shit that he threw in there. How's that? Let me know what you think about that in the comments. And then give your boy JP a hand, because I read his whole entire script. I've read a bunch of his that he's written. And it's actually really good stuff. Anyway, I'm Craig, not plagiarizing shit. Reviews for you. And I am out of here.